Howdy, and welcome to another episode of Ask Alan Anything. We've had some discussion recently, as far as communications with me, about promotions and selling your books, and even some of the past shows has brought us to this point. So what we're going to talk about is selling your book at 99 cents. And there's a lot of reasons why I encourage people not to do that, at least not on a regular basis. But we're going to go through it here, and hopefully you'll understand, and we'll be able to cover all aspects of why and why not to do that and stuff. We understand that there are 1 million authors published. You've got at least 1 million books a year. I think this year, 2019, there was close to 1.2 million books being published or estimated to be published this year. That makes for a tough marketplace. When you add in the millions of books that are already existing and the competing for attention, this makes it even harder to sell your books. You've got to figure out ways to best market your books. Finally, when you add in the aspect that reading of created literature, which is like fiction books, is on the continuous decline each year. While it's small declines, it's still a decline that ultimately, out of 7 billion people around the world, less than 10% read on a regular basis. You're talking about roughly, I think that would be 700 million that actually read on a regular basis or read creative fiction around the world. So that's a large number, but it's really not, considering there's 7 billion people around. I mean, everybody in some aspects should be reading creative literature. There's so many good reasons why to do that. Anyways, so this leads up to the fact that authors have to figure out ways to get their books marketed and promoted so people are buying them and reading them and stuff. And that's not always an easy thing to do. You also have the authors who want to make this a career, that they want to be able to retire and just write and create books and stuff like that. I'm one of them. I mean, I'd love to be able to do it. That's not been my forte because of the path I've chosen at this point, but I still want to be able to write books and inspire people to be greater and stronger and more empowering on many different levels and stuff. So in order to do this, we have to quit the day job so that we can devote the proper time and energy in doing this, not only in the writing, researching, all that stuff, but also marketing. That's so important. All of these things matter. And you can't really do an excellent job if you have a full-time job and another writing job on top of it. One of them is going to have to give in some context. So then this creates a concept of having to have authors seek out as many buyers as possible in order for them to be able to be in a position where they can retire and live off of just the royalties and the income from it. It then becomes natural that readers are seeking out books that they can afford, especially with the potential of a recession coming up. This is going to even be harder because money's going to become tighter. People won't have as much money to blow, to spend on casual things. And unfortunately, creative literature is considered one of those extra items that are not necessary for everyday living, which is a shame because in reality it is something that is needed to be able to live and relax and enjoy life into greater context. But nonetheless, so while authors are seeking out ways to get as many readers as possible to buy the books, the readers that are looking for the least expensive way to buy books or to get a hold of books, and the authors that are seeking to find as many readers as possible meet, but unfortunately they meet in the center of no profit. Okay, thus the 99-cent book is ideal for readers, and authors feel that's ideal to find readers to buy their books and stuff. Unfortunately, that's really not a profit margin. So for argument's sake, we're going to note that Amazon controls a large portion of the ebook sales with their Kindle library system and their online ebook system. For the purpose of this discussion, we will assume that everyone is using the Kindle platform to sell their books. At the 99-cent value, that means that Amazon is getting 70% of the sale, okay? Which leaves an author at 35 cents per book in income. Okay. 35 cents doesn't sound horrible if you are looking at possibly selling thousands of copies and stuff. But here's a little reality. It's not that much, okay? Yes, you're not having to pay for the processing fee associated with credit card processing or the hosting of the website and all that stuff. Amazon's paying for that. That's why they're getting their 70% off of it and stuff like this. But let's look at reality here. To actually earn a living that is considered above the poverty line and is somewhat decent. In other words, you're not able to go out and spend a whole lot of money on frivolous things and stuff, but you're able to live in a comfortable situation. You have to earn no less than $50,000 per year. And of course, that's going to continue to increase as inflation increases and stuff like that. So at 35 cents per book, that means you have to sell 142,857 books. Catch that. 142,857 books per year if you're selling it at 99 cents. Okay? All right, so some people say, well, that's not that hard. That's not that difficult. But the reality is, based on our surveys that we've done over the last few years, is that the average author, indie author, is selling about 500 books a year. You're now 142,357 books short. So at 500 books per year, you're not even looking at, a couple $100 in income. I mean, so that's not covering anything. That's barely covering the cost of your getting the book published, okay? So keep that in mind, all right? The question then becomes, how will you sell 1,443, 1,043, I can't even say it right, 143,000 books. How are you going to sell it? That's so many books, I don't even want to say it right. But yeah, the aspect is you have to market it. You have to figure out the best way to market it, okay? So what ends up happening is that authors become desperate in finding buyers for their books. Again, they want to, get as many book buyers as they possibly can. So in order to find them, they offer the books at the extremely low price, either on a permanent basis or even a short-term sales basis, hoping that they get enough people who might buy the first book in a series at the 99 cents hooked to want to buy a $2.99, $3.99, whatever amount ebooks price you're setting it at, okay, to help offset and to recoup your expenses. In addition, an author has to pay for the advertising of the book so that people discover the book, even at the 99 cent, because so many people are selling it at 99 cents that you're having to compete against those authors. So you've got to get the word out there that, hey, my book is 99 cents. You've got to figure out ways of doing it. And unfortunately, Amazon has that market because that's where mostly ebooks are being sold. So therefore, they can sell you, hey, advertise on the store. That way people know your book's there and they will buy it. So yes, you're paying for the advertising. And, if you're only selling a few hundred books, that cost of advertising is wiped out even with the income of the sales. So you're back to zero. You've not really accomplished anything, okay? For the reader, this is great. They get to buy hundreds of books at 99 cents. They get to buy as many books as they want throughout the year because everybody wants to sell their books at 99 cents. They want to get those readers. Again, defeating the purpose of income growth, okay? By selling the books at 99 cents, you are basically devaluating your quality, your self-worth, your value to the world of creative literature, okay? And you think, well, this is only temporary, it's only short term. It's still devaluating who you are and what you've done, okay? Authors are notorious for this because they're so desperate for readers, they're so desperate for book sales that they devalue themselves, okay? Look, there's a million of you out there all doing close to the exact same thing. So you're not alone in this, and we all try to figure out ways not to do this, but we end up doing it because we are wanting those sales. We want to be able to generate that income to know it's worth our time and effort and that we can slowly increase and at that point get to that retirement of being able to say, hey, all I do is write books full time and I love it and this is all I do. Okay? All right. So we know the authors will continue to offer those prices since they are desperate for the sales. What can we do to flip the situation? Okay? Authors do want to earn a fair share of income. We know that. They do want to continue to write great books that move people. We know that. Authors want to succeed in what they love doing, just like everyone else: a painter, a musician, a dancer, a lawyer. All these different careers that are out there. Everybody wants to be able to earn their fair share and be able to live a decent, good life, be able to provide for their family. Okay, that's only natural. Okay, so again, by offering that 99 cents to try to build the readership, we're ending up, devaluing our self-worth. That's not good. You don't see lawyers doing that. I mean, they are committed. You are going to pay probably $200 to $300 an hour for their services. They don't give a rat's ass if you can afford it or not. That's what they've set their value at. They hold true to that. That's been bred into them in college. They will not change that. Yes, you'll get some lawyers who will do pro bono, but that's just free stuff, and it's very limited free stuff. They are going to get their value. Okay? Even the DAs or the public defenders, they're still going to get their value. Okay? It may not be as high as a private lawyer, but they still are going to get their value. Okay? They have committed through their system to not go below the price set as a general rule. Okay? Authors don't do that. Okay? Until authors understand their value and choose to stop degrading themselves and pimping their works out as if they were streetwalkers, authors will never earn their fair share. Okay? And will depend on a pimp to help them and protect them. Okay? In this case, Amazon's that pimp. As with all pimps, they give false hope and promises and put you on the street the moment you're unable to produce. Okay? When you're not able to sell the books, they don't give a shit. You're pushed off, you're on your own, that's it. Okay? Just like a streetwalker, when they become too old or unable to perform or unable to do their job, they are pushed out. Okay? The pimp doesn't give a rat's ass about them. Okay? The only time a pimp really cares about them is when they're doing really well, when they're sexy and they're young and they're vivacious and stuff. Otherwise, that's it. You're done. You move out. You're out. And bookstores, Amazon, all of them are in that type of mainframe mindset. Okay. So let's talk about the Amazon lending library for Prime members. Okay. Prime membership is a great thing, especially if you use it a lot. It's saving on shipping fees, getting good deals, all part of the ways to save money. And who doesn't want to save money? Okay. Our society is built on that at this point in time because it's so expensive to exist here in the not only in the United States, but any Western country. It's very expensive to live. Okay. Everybody's out for their profit. Okay. Corporations have really pushed that to the max. Okay. So it's not about, okay, we're not going to get into that. I'm sorry. We're going to stop there. But its bottom line is everybody wants the profit. It's understandable. You deserve to make money. You deserve to be paid your worth. That is not a problem. But for some reason, authors keep devaluating themselves and pimping themselves out at a super low price. Okay. In the lending library, authors see the monthly newsletters that state there's millions of dollars being paid out monthly or available to be paid out for that particular month. This is really exciting. It's, if you're part of that and you're an exclusive member of that, you get a chance to have a portion of the pot of gold. I mean, we all want that pot of gold in some format. Okay. It's a great visual concept that $1 million is out there and stuff. It inspires authors to go after the money without realizing what they are giving up. Okay. What they give up, just as written before, is the self-worth and self-value of their book. Okay? When the lending library started, it was estimated that an author would be paid on average $0.25 cent per paper page read. Okay? Imagine that, 1/4 per paper page read. Okay, I mean, that's really not a whole lot. Let's do quick math on here. With the average book being at 350 pages, and you're getting paid at 1/4 cent, that's $87 you're being paid. Okay, something's wrong there. Yeah, it's better than 35 cents, but it's only 87 cents. Okay, and that person gets to reread that book as many times as they want and stuff. The reality is, for the Kindle pages that are read, you're paid less than 0.8 of 1 cent. Okay, and that only begins to be paid out when you hit that 10% read mark. So at 11%, you start getting paid. Okay, and it's paid for every Kindle page thereafter and stuff like that. Again, it's less than 80 cents, 87, 88 cents. I mean, per book. That's not a whole lot. Okay. Authors need to stop devaluing their self-worth and begin to educate readers that they need to pay their fair share to get works of art. Your book, creative, nonfiction, fiction, whatever it is a art. It's a piece of art. It's creative work. It's something you put your time and effort into. If an attorney can demand $200, $300 an hour, you can demand your fair share as well. Okay? And this is not meant to say that books should be overpriced, especially to the point like a lot of vanity presses do, where the book will never sell. So you don't want to do that. This is just the reality of being fair and getting your fair share. By authors stop selling their books at 99 cents, they begin to increase their value and self-worth. Okay? And begin to let the reader know that their book is not crap and worth the additional cost. That's another thing about that 99 cent. Most everybody who is going after the free books or the 99 cent books generally expect the book to be crap. Okay, they see it all the time. That's what's out there. That's why people put it at that price. It's because they're so desperate for the sales that it's not selling in normal channels or normal ways. So therefore, they just throw it out there. Here it's free, or here it's 99 cents. And unfortunately, most of the time, it's crap. Not all the time, but most of the time, it's crap. And that's how the readers perceive it, and that's how the readers review it. They know it's worth 99 cents, so that if it is crap, they don't lose anything. Okay? You don't want your book to be associated in that context. So again, you don't want it at that 99 cent cost. Okay? You want it at a fair price that is worthy. Okay? And keep that in mind, that once you get to the $2.99 value, which is where you can get 70% yourselves, it's not that much more. It actually works out to $1.99, at the 70-cent value. Okay. Okay, so we know that readers love to read, and a true die-hard reader can go through 6 to 12 books a month. And the most average readers will go through 1 to 3 books a month. Okay, no author can write 12 books a year. Okay, there's just no way, and there's no way you're going to be able to satisfy that reader who wants that 1 book a month. Okay, there's just no way you're going to be able to do it. Okay, you're pushing it if you're doing 1 every 6 months. Okay, you're rushing things through. Okay, so again, you need to have a good quality, and there's a reason you need to slow your ass down, and we're going to talk about this. Okay, so with no author being able to produce that many books, you want to make sure that the readers have alternatives to find other books, and then come back to you when they know your book is ready, your next book is ready, and they're excited because they remember there was a good book and stuff. So working together as a team is really important, okay? And by a team, I mean authors, okay? When you share the wealth in this respect, and by that I mean you are having authors who are working together, sharing, hey, I've read this author, they're in my genre, you may like them as well. That's what I mean by sharing and working together and stuff. So when authors work together and say in this genre, you may want to look at so-and-so, I enjoy the book, or their book is good. You're helping each other grow, okay? You're sharing the wealth, okay? So by sharing the wealth, you're not necessarily competing against each other. Okay, you're supporting each other. Okay. Okay. So this is a true marketing plan for any author, working with authors and with bookstores to create a program that builds wealth and helps experiences the benefit of all parties, including the readers. Okay? When this is accomplished, then the self-worth and the value of the author is completed and the true nature of growing a community is achieved. And again, this is so important. Okay? You are helping each other. Okay? However, when each fraction is warring with the other in some way, and this means the authors are, saying, "Well, you're my competition. I don't want to help you," or the bookstores are saying, "Well, the authors, we're not interested in you coming in to be do a book sign because you're an indie author, and we can't get your books." And there's so much crap out there going on that needs to stop. Okay. So history has proven that over time, the company that is in control doesn't like to share its wealth. Okay? But what history has also shown is that when there is no competition, the industry faces a revolution, which is, in effect, destroys that business model. And that company then goes out of business as it once was operating as. Okay? So what this is meaning is that when Amazon, being the hog that it is, yes, they're expanding to other markets because they realize they cannot stay in one market and succeed permanently in that market. So therefore, they've expanded in other markets, and that's why Amazon has grown to what it is and continues to put other businesses out of their competition or out of business. And they've even gone to building rockets and going to space and stuff like this. There's no limit to their imagination, and that's great. But at what point do we as authors need to be paying for their spaceship to be built? I'm not saying that, okay? Why should authors be paying for other programs, other services that don't relate to us? Why are we giving up our profits to help other companies, other divisions grow when it doesn't benefit us? Okay, it's not about competition, it's about our self-worth, our value. Okay, that's why the whole author's revolution has got to come into place. You've got to start waking up and realizing that you cannot pay for other people's growth if they're not willing to share in the profits. Okay, and by sharing in the profits, that means giving you more money on your book sales. Okay, the amount of money that Amazon is spending on a spaceship could come back to authors and could come back to a lot of businesses that are on Amazon's system and give them more wealth. Okay, more wealth allows you to spend more money, more time, more effort on creating more energy, more creative works, more products, whatever it is, instead of it being funneled off to a space program that, quite frankly, they're not space people. Okay, so why do we need to be paying for their spacecraft? And it's not just the spacecraft, it's almost anything, okay, that Amazon wants to keep adding to their wealth. Okay, AWS, which is their cloud system, okay, it's the largest cloud system out there. And most all web hosting systems are set up through them in some format. Again, why do we have to be spending that money, our profits, to them to build that so they can make more profits and then build more things that, again, other people, other corporations can also do as well, okay? So that is my concern, okay? Why, as authors, do we need to give up our profit, our ability to live a decent life, and give it to somebody who really doesn't care, okay? Doesn't matter if it's Amazon, doesn't matter if it's Barnes & Noble, doesn't matter if it's independent bookstores, it doesn't matter who it is. They need to be willing to share in the wealth. Okay? We don't need to be busting our asses to help them become filthy rich while we barely survive, while we have to work 2 or 3 jobs. Okay? That's not the point. We are doing something that we love. We should be paid fairly for it. We should be able to charge fairly for it. We should be content and living a happy, pleasant life doing what we love doing. Okay? So that's it in a nutshell for the discussion as far as selling 99-cent books. I don't recommend it. At least sell it for $1.99. Earn a little bit more income on it, a little bit more profit, so that you're able to do more works, be able to survive. On regular, I would say have your books at $2.99. The profit margin is not that much more, but it's something, and your value is worth something. Okay, so that's what's most important, is your value. Okay, if you don't value yourself and you continue to give away your value, your worth, then you're never going to succeed. You're never going to be able to have the life you deserve. Okay, so keep that in mind as you're going through and contemplating, oh, do I want to do a 99-cent sale? Do I want to give a book away free for a temporary time to build the readerships and stuff like that? What is your value? That's what's important. That's what needs to be realized. Okay? So with the short time I have, remember again, working together as authors. We have a competition coming up called We Fiction. It's where authors and teams of 2 to 4 people get together to create a new book in 2020. There'll be competition, judging, that whole routine, publishing, all that. But what it's designed to do is to help authors work together to promote each other to new readers, to the other authors' readers, to build that readership, to build the excitement, to build interest in reading, to find new people to read your books and stuff. So definitely check it out. It's at wefiction.dearindy.org. Also, National Authors Day is coming up November 2nd. We've altered it to become more of a national day to celebrate not only being published authors, but to begin the holiday sales for books. That's November 2nd. Definitely sign up for that. It's free of charge. You can go to authors.dearindy.org. There's other programs and other things going on. Our Patreon account, please help us with that. You can do $1 a day, or excuse me, $1 a month. You can do $5 a month. Very low, very cost-effective way of supporting us so that we can do more videos, so we can do more programs to help you get to that point of success, which is what we're trying to do here. So please look at all those things. Again, Patreon, you'll see it at the end of the show, a little commercial about it. We thank you very much for being with us, and have a good week. Hi, this is your host, B. Alan Bourgeois. Thanks for watching Ask Alan Anything. We do appreciate you tuning in from time to time, and we are asking that if you're interested in the show and what the value it has for authors, that you help support us. We have created a Patreon page. You can go to Patreon, Patreon.com, and go to Bourgeois Media and become a sponsor. We have a lot of different options for you, free books, free credits, free whatever we can find that doesn't cost us too much, that allows us to be able to still raise money for Title I schools, getting the books into their hands, and also keeping the show up and running. So please check us out. That is Patreon, Patreon.com, and then look for Bourgeois Media. And I appreciate your support. Thanks. Authors, do you know the true cost of being published? In the Author's Revolution Workbook, B. Alan Bourgeois gives you hands-on tools to use and to understand the true cost of being published. He will also give you information about low-cost or free programs that are designed to help you market your book. The Alan Bourgeois has been helping hundreds of authors since 2011, educating them on how to better market and sell their books. Buy the Author's Revolution Workbook exclusively at IndieLector.store